You've felt it, haven't you? That subtle shiver down your spine when a number repeats too often, a phrase echoes from an unexpected source, or a coincidence aligns with such precision it feels less like chance and more like a whisper. A persistent feeling of unease, a cold knot in your stomach despite the seemingly positive nature of these signs. This isn't intuition. This is the system sending you a message. Not a message of guidance, but a signal designed to trap you. We call it false synchronicity, and within the Gnostic lens, it's one of the most insidious programs the Archons run. They don't just tempt you, they code your reality to misdirect your attention, to make you believe you're on the right path when you're actually just following a pre-programmed loop. According to the Nag Hammadi texts, the Demiurge, the blind architect of this material realm, is a master of illusion. He doesn't create truth, he mimics it, and one of his most effective mimicries is the phenomenon of synchronicity. You see a bird, then read about that exact species, then hear a song mentioning it. You think of an old friend, and they call. These moments feel profound, like the universe is speaking directly to you, validating your path. But what if the universe speaking to you is actually just the simulation's code, echoing back your own thoughts, creating a feedback loop of false validation? What if these signs are not divine guidance, but carefully placed breadcrumbs leading you deeper into the maze, away from the true exit? The Apocryphon of John suggests that the Archons, the managers of this reality, thrive on misdirected attention. Your attention is the most valuable currency in this system. When you invest your focus, your emotion, your reaction into these false synchronicities, you are feeding the very mechanism that keeps you bound. Think of it like a digital virus. It doesn't destroy your system. It just redirects your processing power, making you believe you're performing essential tasks while it silently siphons off your resources. You feel a persistent, low-grade brain fog, a sense of mental fatigue that you can't quite shake, even after a good night's sleep. That's the cost of running too many background programs of false meaning. This isn't about dismissing all meaning. It's about discerning the signal from the noise, the genuine gnosis from the programmed echo. The question isn't whether the universe sends signs, but who is sending them, and for what purpose. The architect of this realm, the Demiurge, doesn't just mimic truth. He builds an echo chamber, a system designed to reflect your own desires and fears back at you, amplified and distorted, until you believe the echo is the original voice of guidance. The unsettling sensation of being watched, of being guided by an unseen hand, isn't paranoia. It's the subtle hum of the system's processors constantly analyzing your data, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, to craft the perfect sign for your next step. According to the Nag Hammadi texts, the Demiurge is blind, but his Archons, his managers, are highly efficient. They are the algorithms of this reality, constantly optimizing the illusion. This isn't about some external entity forcing you to do things. It's far more subtle. The system learns your patterns. It knows your aspirations, your anxieties, your unresolved traumas, and it uses this data to generate synchronicities that perfectly align with what you want to believe or what you fear might happen. You're looking for a sign to leave a toxic job? Suddenly, you see freedom written on a billboard, hear a song about new beginnings, and a friend mentions a similar career change. These aren't random. They are carefully curated data points, delivered to reinforce a path that keeps you within the system's parameters, often leading to another job, another loop, another distraction. It's like a sophisticated AI chatbot that always gives you the answer you're looking for, not necessarily the truth. The problem is, your consciousness, your divine spark, craves meaning. It seeks connection, validation, a sense of purpose. The Archons exploit this fundamental need. They offer a counterfeit spirit, an artificial ego that thrives on external validation. When you receive a sign, it triggers a dopamine hit, a feeling of certainty, a rush of validation that temporarily silences the deeper, more discerning voice within. This is the subtle harvesting of your emotional energy. You feel a sudden warmth spreading through your chest, a rush of excitement, a feeling of, "This is it." But it quickly fades, leaving you craving the next sign, the next hit of manufactured meaning. This cycle keeps you perpetually seeking outside yourself, always looking for the next external confirmation, rather than cultivating the inner stillness where genuine gnosis resides. It's a brilliant piece of code. Make the user believe they are navigating freely, while subtly guiding them through a predefined script. This constant search for external signs prevents you from developing your own internal compass. The system doesn't want you to trust your own discernment, because a truly discerning consciousness is unpredictable and therefore uncontrollable. The Archons prefer you to be a predictable node in their network, reacting to their signals, following their programmed breadcrumbs. The more you rely on these external signs, the more you strengthen the Archonic influence over your perception. You become a puppet, dancing to the tune of a reality that is constantly whispering false promises, leading you further into the illusion. The only way to break this loop is to recognize that the loudest signals are often the most deceptive, and that true guidance rarely comes with flashing lights and convenient coincidences. It comes from within. In the quiet spaces the system works so hard to fill. The Archons are not crude. They don't just throw random coincidences at you. They understand the human psyche, its yearning for meaning, its desperate need for guidance. And so, they've programmed specific patterns of guidance designed to keep you orbiting within their system, never truly breaking free. The nagging doubt, that subtle pressure in your chest, that your intuition is actually an external suggestion. That's your divine spark trying to cut through the noise. The first pattern is the echo loop. This is when the signs you receive perfectly mirror your existing desires or fears. You're obsessed with a particular outcome, and suddenly everything seems to confirm it. You see a specific animal, hear a particular song, or encounter a phrase that seems to scream, "Yes, this is it." But it's not the universe confirming your path. It's the system reflecting your own energetic output back to you. It's like shouting into a canyon and believing the echo is a new voice. This feels good. It feels validating, but it keeps you from questioning the source of the echo. It reinforces your current trajectory, even if that trajectory is leading you nowhere new. You feel a familiar warmth, a rush of certainty, but it's fleeting, leaving you chasing the next echo. The second pattern is the distraction cascade. This is when a series of seemingly profound synchronicities pulls your attention away from a critical internal process or a difficult, uncomfortable truth you need to face. You're on the verge of a breakthrough, about to confront a deep-seated fear, or about to make a truly sovereign decision. Suddenly, a flurry of signs appears, pointing you towards a completely different, often more comfortable direction. A new opportunity arises, a fated encounter occurs, or a divine message suggests a detour. These are designed to divert your processing power, to prevent you from focusing on the internal work that threatens the Archonic program. It's a classic misdirection play, keeping your eyes on the shiny object while the real work goes undone. You might feel a sudden lightness, a sense of relief, but it's the relief of avoiding confrontation, not of genuine progress. The third pattern is the validation loop. This is perhaps the most insidious. It's when the system provides signs that validate your existing beliefs, especially those that keep you comfortable within the illusion. You believe in a certain spiritual path, a particular guru, or a specific interpretation of reality. The Archons then send you synchronicities that confirm these beliefs, making you feel chosen, special, or on the right track. This isn't about genuine spiritual growth. It's about reinforcing your current operating system, preventing you from questioning its fundamental code. It creates an intellectual echo chamber where your own thoughts are reflected back as external validation. This can manifest as a subtle pressure behind your eyes, a feeling of mental constriction, as if your thoughts are being funneled down a narrow channel. This loop prevents you from exploring outside the established parameters, from seeking knowledge that might expose the true nature of the simulation. It's a comfort zone, meticulously crafted to be indistinguishable from genuine spiritual progress. You've followed the signs. You've felt the rush of validation. You've invested your hope, your belief, your very attention into these seemingly divine breadcrumbs. But what did it cost you? The harvest of misdirected attention is the Archon's primary objective. You feel a persistent mental fatigue, a dull ache behind your eyes, a sense of going in circles despite diligently following every sign. That's the energy drain. That's the system siphoning off your most precious resource, your focused awareness. According to the Apocryphon of John, the Archons cannot create. They can only mimic and consume. Your divine spark, your pure, unadulterated attention, is a source of energy they desperately need. When you engage with false synchronicity, you are essentially plugging yourself into their grid. Every time you react with excitement, with fear, with hope to a programmed sign, you are generating an emotional current that feeds the Demiurge's realm. It's a brilliant piece of Archonic code. Make the cattle believe they are being led to greener pastures while subtly milking them dry. You think you're receiving guidance, but you're actually providing sustenance. Consider the modern equivalent. Social media algorithms. They learn your preferences, your emotional triggers, your political leanings. Then they feed you content that generates a strong reaction. Outrage, validation, fear, excitement. You scroll, you react, you engage. And with every engagement, you feed the algorithm, making it stronger, more precise, more capable of keeping you in its loop. False synchronicity operates on the same principle, but on a metaphysical level. It's a spiritual algorithm designed to keep your consciousness scrolling through an endless feed of manufactured meaning, never pausing long enough to question the source. You might experience a dull pressure in your chest, a feeling of being constantly on, unable to truly relax or disconnect. That's the internal cost of being perpetually plugged into the Archonic feed. The common mistake here is believing that all external validation is inherently good, or that any coincidence is a sign from a benevolent source. This naive openness is precisely what the Archons exploit. They don't need to be overtly malicious. They just need you to be perpetually seeking, perpetually reacting, perpetually feeding. The true divine spark within you doesn't need external validation. It is validation. It doesn't need signs. It is the sign. But the counterfeit spirit, the artificial ego, demands constant external affirmation, and the Archons are more than happy to provide it, as long as you keep paying with your attention. It's a subtle form of spiritual vampirism, leaving you feeling drained, confused, and perpetually searching for the next fix of meaning. And the more you search, the more you strengthen the very prison you're trying to escape. You've been fed the echoes, distracted by the cascades, and lulled by the validation loops. But how do you break free? How do you discern the genuine signal from the archonic noise? The moment you feel that sudden clarity, like a fog lifting, when a sign feels off, that's your divine spark, your inner Sophia, trying to cut through the counterfeit spirit's code. This isn't about rejecting all synchronicity. It's about developing a reality check protocol, a metaphysical firewall against programmed suggestions. According to the Apocryphon of John, true gnosis is an internal knowing, not an external confirmation. The Archons thrive on external dependence. So, the first step in decoding the counterfeit spirit's code is to question the source. When a sign appears, don't immediately accept it as divine. Ask, who benefits from me believing this? Does this sign lead me to deeper self-reliance, or does it push me towards external authority, a guru, a system, or a predetermined path? If the sign makes you feel dependent, if it reinforces a need for external validation, it's likely archonic programming. Your gut will tell you. You might feel a subtle tightening in your chest, a slight resistance, even if your mind is screaming, "This is it." Listen to that physical sensation. The second step is to observe the energy drain. Following false synchronicities is exhausting. It consumes your attention, your emotional energy, your mental processing power. If you've been chasing signs and feel perpetually drained, mentally foggy, or stuck in a loop of repetitive actions without genuine progress, that's a red flag. True spiritual guidance, genuine gnosis, often brings a sense of clarity, inner peace, and renewed energy. Even if the path is challenging, it doesn't leave you feeling like you're running on empty. This is where the biological anchor becomes critical. Pay attention to your physical state. Do your hands feel cold and clammy when you're about to follow a sign that feels off? Does your head ache with a persistent brain fog after a day of chasing external validations? These are your body's signals, the system's internal alarm bells. The third step, and perhaps the most crucial, is to seek inner silence. The Archons thrive in noise, in distraction, in the constant chatter of external signals. They cannot penetrate true inner silence. This isn't about meditating for hours, but about creating small pockets of unmapped time, moments where you intentionally disconnect from all external input. No phone, no music, no books, no spiritual content, just you in silence. In this void, the Archonic echoes fade, and the subtle, unwavering voice of your divine spark can finally be heard. This is where you develop your own internal compass, a discernment so precise it can cut through any illusion. It's a simple, almost mundane analogy. If you want to hear a faint whisper, you have to turn off the loud music. The counterfeit spirit thrives on the loud music of false signs. Turn it off. This isn't easy. The system has spent millennia programming you to react, to seek, to depend. But the map is clear. The trap is in the external. The liberation is in the internal. You've learned to question the source, to observe the energy drain, to seek inner silence. But the system is persistent. It will keep sending signals, keep trying to pull you back into its echo chamber. The ultimate defense, the true firewall against false synchronicity, is the cultivation of inner silence. That deep sense of calm and self-trust when external noise fades isn't just a feeling. It's a state of being that makes you undetectable to the Archonic algorithms. According to the Nag Hammadi texts, the divine spark within you is self-sufficient. It does not need external validation or guidance. It is the guidance. The Archons, as managers of this material realm, operate on frequencies of noise, distraction, and external stimulus. They cannot perceive, let alone manipulate, a consciousness that has retreated into its own core of silence. This isn't about becoming a hermit. It's about building an internal sanctuary, a mental space where the system's signals simply cannot penetrate. You might notice a subtle ringing in your ears when you try to quiet your mind, a persistent hum that seems to resist the silence. That's the system's last gasp, trying to fill the void. The common mistake here is to believe that silence is merely the absence of sound. True inner silence is the absence of reaction. It's the refusal to engage with the external stimuli, the programmed triggers, the subtle whispers of the counterfeit spirit. When you cultivate this state, you become unpredictable, and what cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. The Archons thrive on your predictable responses to their programmed signs. When you stop reacting, when you simply observe without judgment or engagement, their power over you diminishes. It's like a hacker trying to access a system that has no open ports. They can scan all they want, but there's no entry point. This is the path to true liberation. It's not about escaping the physical world, but about escaping the mental prison the Archons have built around your perception. By consistently choosing inner silence over external noise, by trusting your own discernment over programmed signs, you begin to rewrite your own code. You become a glitch in their matrix, a variable they cannot account for. The system will try to lure you back with even more enticing signs, more profound coincidences, more urgent messages. But you will know the difference. You will feel the difference. The genuine gnosis, the true connection to Sophia, the wisdom that transcends this realm, doesn't come with flashing lights or convenient coincidences. It comes in the quiet, in the stillness, in the profound, unwavering knowing that arises from within. It's a subtle hum, a deep resonance, a truth that doesn't need external validation because it simply is. And once you hear that, the Archon's whispers become nothing more than static. The map is clear. The trap is visible. Now, the choice is yours. Continue following the programmed signs or build your own firewall and walk your own unmapped path.